Hey everyone, Pooja Chilukuri from Pooja Chilukuri Nutrition and Health, and also your host for the Be Made Whole Wellness Education Series. Today I'm excited to interview our guest, Miggy Rodriguez. Migdalia Rodriguez, also known as Miggy, is the owner of Infinite Flow Healing. She's a certified Reiki master and a holistic wellness coach. She also has extensive experience working in education. Miggy is dedicated to supporting individuals in their highest purpose and claiming their personal power. She envisions a world where humanity is thriving, living in its divine power, and aligned to the infinite flow of universal life force and its many blessings. What a blessing to have you here with us today, Miggy. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, of course. I
I
would
really love your series too.
thank you. Thank you. I hope it's useful. Yeah, I'm just
It
trying to
has been.
I am trying to learn all these different holistic modalities, to learn about them and to just bring that education to everybody that I know. And
Hmm.
when I met you, I was very curious because I know you do something that's different that I'm not very experienced with. So I am looking forward to learning from you today about energy healing. But before I do that, I would love for you to share how you got there and why you chose this particular modality.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Sure. So my journey with energy healing started over a decade ago. During the time I was experiencing a lot of things, but probably the one thing that was really getting my attention was like just the excruciating back pain that I had been experiencing to the point that it was becoming very debilitating. There was a day that my mom, like, we had to go to the hospital, and my mom had to help drag me kind of downstairs to get me to the hospital. And I'd gotten seen and got a couple of different tests, and they could not find anything physically wrong. Like, they kept saying, like, we don't see anything that we can pinpoint and say that's what's causing it, right? And I'd gone a couple of times to the doctor about the same thing, and they'd given me like pain pills and stuff. But at one point, the doctor kind of just said, maybe this is more like stress related, and maybe what you need to do is maybe try something like physical therapy. Maybe that can help you alleviate that. And so I did, and I went to physical therapy a couple of times. I saw a physical therapist, and then I saw a massotherapist as well, because there's a little bit of a difference in how they handle it. And the massotherapist that I saw, I think, was also trained in energy healing. And she had made the comment to me that, like, the energy in my body was very toxic, which I was like, how dare you, lady, is kind of what I thought to myself. Like, and that really, I've always kind of said to people, that was like a real big punch in the gut to me, because I was a counselor, worked with people. I consider myself to be, just a very positive person, always trying to help. And so that idea of my energy being toxic, and it was because I took it kind of a little personal, right? Like me. But that kind of got me started and curious about what she meant. And I started to do some research about energy, ran into some information about energy healing. And that's where I came across Reiki. And I booked the session. I was like, okay, I think this is something that I may need to try. And I booked the session. And it just was like the relief, physically, was instant. It was like amazing, the difference that I felt and the relief that I felt. But one of the things that was most noticeable to me was just how peaceful the experience felt. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so like balanced, like emotionally and mentally. It just really, and that just kind of kept me learning more and going back for sessions. And what's interesting is that at the time I didn't realize it, but I eventually learned that I am an empath. And so the energy that was toxic was really me holding on to a lot of energy from other people, like holding on to
Yes.
their energy. And that was kind of, and some of it was mind stuff too. There were some things that I needed to work out. It eventually kind of like started a journey, a healing journey, and still on it, because I've learned that, life continues to throw challenges, and, we're always growing and evolving. And so it's turned into a journey that's going to be lifelong. But, at the time, I just started to notice that many of my the things that were manifesting in my body had a lot to do with some emotional stuff I wasn't dealing with
Mm-hmm.
some, very unhealthy mental and thinking patterns that kind of kept me trapped in situations that I couldn't. And, also taking on, because I'm a school counselor. And so, I counsel people and hear a lot of the struggles and things that people go to. And at that time, as an empath, I was like taking that on, and
Yes.
absorbing all that energy and all that, and I learned that, everything is energy.
Mm-hmm.
We are energy beings. Our thoughts are energy, our emotions are energy, like, our actions, everything is energy. And so that's kind of how that's kind of like my journey. And like I said, still on it, still learning, growing, and expanding. And
And
I believe it's a lifelong thing.
it truly, truly is. When I was hearing you speak, I was able to relate with a few things. I know I'm sure Albert Einstein would be very happy right now and he would agree with you. I think he would definitely agree with you, right? Everything is energy and that emotions are energy. Miggy used a very important word here, empath. I've been an empath all my life, but it wasn't until maybe 8 or 10 years ago that I really started reading about it and understanding what that meant.
Hmm.
And I would love for you to explain to our listeners and viewers what that is in case somebody hasn't heard of it or they don't know. But I certainly know now and what it did to my own health. I'm aware of
Yeah.
it, but could you please
Hmm.
just, uh, so how would you describe an empath, like in your
Sure.
terms? Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So empaths are those of us that are just highly sensitive and have the ability to sense the emotions and pick up the energy of our environment, those around us, And I think what happens a lot of times is us empaths, we can experience all of that energy and those emotions and those things from other, like it's our own, right? And so when we're not aware of this, and I've been an empath my whole life too,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know, I didn't understand what was going on with me. But I know that, that was a big part of, like, the physical manifestations that I was experiencing. But we tend to empaths, we tend to kind of experience other people's emotions and energy as our own. And if we don't do a lot of self-care, a lot of processing,
Mhm.
cleansing, getting rid of that, we can take that on, and it could really like stress us out and really take away our energy, deplete our energy when we're consumed with all this other energy. So it can be, what I've learned, like now that I know how to manage it, how to like really take care of myself so I'm not absorbing other people's stuffs,
Yes.
right? It can be a superpower, because empathy can really help you to connect with people, to have compassion for people, to really, provide assistance to them, right? But if you're not aware of how you may be taking it on, it can
Mhm.
be a bit of a curse too, because for some of us, it can also turn into unhealthy patterns of enabling others, or codependency,
Yes.
or all these other very unhealthy ways of relating to people. And that was a big part of, what was going on with me is, I was taking on like all the energy and emotions of the people that I worked with, the
Mhm.
people that I'm, in relationships with, and And so I really had to do a whole lot of unlearning all that kind of behavior and really learning how to set appropriate boundaries, how to be there and hold space for somebody and support them, but not take on, you
Not take
know.
it in. Yes, not
Yeah,
let that energy become my energy, right?
that's right.
Can you help us? Whatever has worked for you or helped you to make that boundary or to kind of shield yourself. I know there are some, tools and tips and techniques out there, but can you share one with us? If there's any empaths listening, I want them to have something they walk away with that they can immediately practice.
Sure, sure. A really easy one is to kind of create an aura bubble around yourself, especially when you know that you're like empaths. It's really hard for us when we're in public places where there's a lot of people. So, like, I get so overwhelmed in malls. Malls to me feel like torture. Like, I avoid them at all costs.
Coming from
You know,
everywhere, yes.
yeah, and so like when I do have to go, because I have three daughters who love to, go to the mall. When I do have to go, what I do is I try to prepare myself kind of mentally. And there's this technique that's called, aura bubble. And basically, there's a lot of ways that you can do it. The big thing is setting the intention to do it, right? So you can just like place your hand on heart, imagine that you have a bubble of light emanating from your heart center, right? And think about all the like good things, positive things, light, joy. And then what you want to do is you want to grow that, envision yourself expanding that into a bubble that surrounds you, right? And sometimes you can even like do it kind of physically, like you can put some motion to it and just create this bubble and kind of set it and set the intention that that's going to be your protection or your support when you're going into space that kind of can feel heavy for you emotionally. And just, imagine, set the intention that only good can emanate out of there and good could come in and be penetrated into it, but that anything that is not, that doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel expansive, is going to be blocked, right? And so
That's
that you set the intention when you're going into a place where you feel like it feels heavy to you, you do that. And then some people might do that daily, just all
mhm.
through the day. Some people only need to do it when they're going to be in certain environments or
Mhm.
situations where they think like, oh, that person's energy just doesn't feel good to me and I rather not take it in. So it really is up to the person. And sometimes I may get out of that space and then be like, okay, I can be a little more open, when I'm
Open.
outdoors or when I'm going home to my family and to the people that I feel, safe
Safe.
and light around. And then you
Yes.
could just, again, it's all about the intention and the attention you're giving that.
That is excellent advice. I'm going to actually practice that, Miggy. I'm going to do that
Good.
starting today.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I,
That's one of the things with energy too, is like when you start doing the energy practice, it's amazing how aware you become of like energy and how
yes,
but at the beginning, it takes some practice. It takes some time every day of just being mindful and trying to pay attention to it, right?
yeah,
After a while it becomes automatic and it's like amazing. You experience things and you're like, whew, the energy of that was really interesting. Or
yes.
and again, you can see it, right? Like you can recognize it and you
Yeah.
can see it, but you're not taking that
You're not
on.
taking it in. And I love that you said awareness. I try to use that as much as I can, because that's the first step to any change, any progress that we're ever going
I
to make,
agree.
right? Awareness,
Hmm.
being aware. And that's why we're educating as much as we can. The more we hear, the more aware we will become. And speaking
That's
of
right.
awareness, Reiki is not something I have explored or ever used. So that is new for me, and I would just like to learn a little bit more about it. Could you just share what it is that, I mean, I know it's energy healing, right? But what
Yeah.
is it that you do, and whom can you help with that, you know?
Okay. Sure, sure. So Reiki is an ancient energy healing modality. Its current form was developed by a Japanese monk, and his name was Mikao Usui. And there's a lot of different kind of modalities out there. So some may be very similar to Reiki, and but healing modalities or energy healing modalities just usually they target the energy field of the body. And what we do is we usually try to address imbalances that people may be experiencing in the different aspects of self. And, most of us operate from our energy is made up of different bodies, right? And we have our physical body, we have our mental body, we have our emotional body, and we have our spiritual body, right?
Mhm.
And so what normally happens is that when we experience, maybe we experience blocks, or we experience trauma or wounding, or difficulties and challenges in life, sometimes if we're not able to process that in a healthy way, that can turn into an energy block, right? And it makes it really difficult for your body's energy and your system's energy to kind of move and flow how it's supposed to. And so Reiki is a hands-on modality where we target like different parts of the body, and we kind of help through like different hand movements or sweeping or tapping, or a lot of um, holding hands over different places, and we are serving kind of as a channel for energy for the person. And it's really meant to help people to remove blocks, enhance the flow of their energy, because by improving the flow of your energy, right, around the body, it helps you to relax more, it helps you to reduce pain, it helps you to feel more balanced, more, experience more clarity of mind, feel more empowered in your emotions and how you feel overall. So it really can be, Reiki is a helpful treatment for just about anybody and for any, thing that people can experience. Again, because it's holistic, and
Yes.
we treat and we look at it, from the different energy bodies, right?
And I hear you, Miggy, because I understand that, it's all these different modalities working together. Sometimes a person needs all of the pieces.
Yeah.
I do nutrition therapy, but, I could be putting the best foods inside somebody. But if they have stuck emotions or stuck energy, I know that the therapy is not going to be as effective as it might be for someone who's maybe more, the energy is more flowing, so I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so
And
that's good.
Reiki is a good enhancer to any treatment or therapy that you may already be,
Right.
experiencing, because again, it just helps you to relax. It helps to reignite your body's ability to
Mm-hmm.
heal itself, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's not a replacement for any medical treatment that you're experiencing. So it's meant to, supplemented,
Right.
to complement it, and to
Mm-hmm.
help your body's, ability to heal itself kind of get reignited, and speed that
So
process up.
so I think what I'm hearing you say is it can improve the outcomes of any other interventions that you're using, right? Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
got it.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so is that the only energy healing modality? Are there others that,
No, there are, yeah, yoga, shamanic practice, breath work, all of those are really energy healing modalities. They
okay,
just have like their different approaches
right.
to, and then and I'm certified as a Reiki master practitioner, but I've also been certified in shamanic Reiki, which
Right?
is kind of like a combination of shamanic journeying with Reiki healing touch. I've recently also got certified in what's called archangelic light, which
Yep.
is kind of a healing modality where you're kind of tapping into the energy of the archangels, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like with me, I can combine those if people are open to trying the different
Different,
types, or I
different,
can just stick to the one modality if they just want, the
just the
one.
one.
Hmm.
Right. So it's
Yeah,
good to have different tools that you can offer, right? Because different people are in different places as to what they're comfortable with in working with.
that's right. Yeah,
Um,
that's
you know,
right.
I could definitely talk to you forever, Miggy, because there is a lot to learn. I'm still learning about these things. So, but I have to
I'm
stop.
still learning.
It's like I'm saying, I have to stop because I know that, our time is running out. But
Yeah.
before we go, can
Hmm.
you leave us with a challenge for this week, something that we can incorporate in our self-care practice?
Oh, sure,
Just a
sure.
little thing that's easy for us to do.
So one of the biggest things that, again, energy healing and Reiki helped me with is really kind of navigating my emotional wellness, right? And this is the thing, right? I think you said earlier, like emotions, you used the word emotions. And there's a lot of people in energy healing that say emotions are energy in motion, right? Because I had said like our thoughts are energy, our emotions are, and really it is. And so what I learned is that when we're experiencing emotions and they're highly charged, right? When it's highly charged, but it's an emotion that feels positive, like excitement, right? That helps us to expand, and it helps us to, like it invigorates us. It makes us feel energized, right? But when you're experiencing emotions that are a little heavier and maybe more challenging for most of us to kind of process, like sadness or anger, and you experience that at a high charge,
Mm.
right? That can, if you're not able to process that well, that can really impact our body and the way we're showing up in the world. So one of the challenge I'm going to give everybody this week is to bring awareness to how you're managing your emotions, right? And when we experience challenging emotions, sometimes we might project it towards others, right? Or we suppress it and we internalize it, and it kind of affects our body. So I want you to kind of become aware of that. And this week, when you experience a challenge emotion, I want you to do a little practice to either neutralize it or lighten it, so that it doesn't feel so heavy for you and you're not carrying all that weight around, right? So it's not contracting kind of like who you are in your experience. And the little breathing technique that I teach people is you turn your head to your left, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to think about the emotion and what you're feeling. And then you're going to breathe in through your nose. You're going to inhale. You're going to hold it. You're going to turn to your right. And then you're going to release it. And while you're doing this, what I want you to be envisioning is that when you're taking in the breath, you're taking in, like light, you're taking in peace, you're taking in the calm, whatever it is that you may need to neutralize that emotion. As you're turning, you're kind of envisioning that energy like circulating through your body. And when you turn to your right and you breathe it out, it's almost like you're pushing out the charge of it, and that part that doesn't feel so good, you're releasing that. So again, you're gonna Breathe in. And do that as many times as you need to, again, neutralize and bring down the charge or the heaviness of that emotion, and be able to get to a place where it's a little more manageable and it feels lighter and it feels like something that you can, manage. And just throughout the week, whenever you find yourself feeling, really overwhelmed about something, maybe angry about something, maybe very, sad or depressed, try doing that and see how that helps you to kind of like shift the energy,
So this week I'm going to try two things, Miggy. I'm going to try your aura, the light aura, and
The
on this
aura bubble.
aura bubble, yeah, and on this practice. This has been so wonderful. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that we'll come back and talk to us about, some of the other things another time as well. Yeah,
Okay, great.
and
Yes,
where
thank you, Pooja, so
uh,
much.
of course. And where can we find you, Miggy? It's just your website, which I will have in the notes. And
Sure. So my website is infiniteflow1111.com. You can also reach me by email at infiniteflow1111@gmail.com. And I do not have a dedicated space, so I'm mobile. I could come to people, come to their home, or if people
that's
are not comfortable with that, I do have a space near over by Crabtree Mall
yes,
that we can make arrangements to meet at too. It's another person's like holistic center
practice.
that I
Yeah.
can rent a room from. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Miggy, it's been wonderful talking to you. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you will benefit from these exercises, that you will practice them this week. And until next time.